Today on FluTac, we talk about the Cobray Mac 11 and why I think that this particular pistol with a couple modifications be your perfect home defense or mobile prepping solution. Another exciting episode of FluTac, Armed Citizen Training Solution starts right now. Guys, thank you so much for joining me in another exciting episode of FluTac. I'm your host, the Faceless Gunslinger, and want to thank you once again, my fellow gunslingers, for joining me on your YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about one of the most unique and also one of the most interesting pistols out there that really has a very strong 80s vibe, and that is going to be the Cobray Mac 11. I can't do this without you. If you guys do like the content, I hope that you do, that you're here. I just want to say you can go ahead and support my Patreon here. And also, most importantly, I want to thank you guys once again because we are now approaching almost 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, your firearm channel, FluTac Armed Citizen Firearm Solutions. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this weapon. So, first, we always do some FluTac. We want to make sure that this weapon system is clear. Make sure it's pointed in a safe direction. This is a closed bolt weapon. And we're going to pull back on the charging handle here. And if you, my fellow YouTubers, can take a look, and you can see that we have ourselves a clear bolt, clear breech, and also the magazine well is not there. Let's talk a little bit about the Mac 11, then we'll get into exactly why I think this is a good weapon system, and we're going to break it down a little bit within compliance of YouTube, of course. So, the Mac 11 is pretty much, well, this is a Mac 11. Let me just say that first of all. The Mac 11 actually is a 380 ACP automatic pistol, fully automatic submachine gun that is highly regulated here in the United States. And it's also a little bit shorter too as well. Really, this is a civilian model of the Mac 11 system, which is chambered in 9mm. And the Mac 11 being a submachine gun, it actually operates from a closed bolt. The Mac 11 380 actually operates from a closed bolt. This one, from open bolt, this one actually operates from a closed bolt as a civilian model. Another cool thing about this was developed back, really, the first design was developed back in the 60s, I believe, by a gentleman named Gordon Ingram that worked for Mac. And a lot of people don't know this. Mac actually is an acronym for Military Armament Corporation, and really was designing to make, I guess, really cheap and inexpensive submachine guns here, as you can see. And these do get a bad rap for the Mac. But with that being said, though, I purchased this personally back when I was deployed overseas in Iraq through Guns America for like $300. These are coming up a lot more expensive now. But out of the box, these are pretty terrible. However, there's a lot of modifications you can make into for these weapons just going forward. And one of the biggest modifications, as you can see here, is that I put a stabilizer brace on it, which is fully adjustable. And also this is a Shockwave, I believe, pistol brace, which is really cool. It gives me opportunity to have it in a very compact situation like that if I need to, as a person who's out there who has to maneuver in any type of crazy situation that you might engage. Another thing that is great about the Mac, and I really like this renaissance in firearms now, that we're now getting to a point where there's old weapons like this that was made back in the 70s and 60s when there's a lot of new technology with it. And I'll just go over a couple things. So I believe it's FTF Industry makes a lot of aftermarket stuff for the Mac 11 style pistols. Now, I've been saying the Mac 11, that's not its official name. This is a semi-automatic version made by Cobray, which made a lot of crazy weapons like the semi-automatic Tech 9. They also made, from my understanding, they also made the Street Sweeper, which is, of course, seen as a destructive device and stuff like that. And I really got introduced to this particular weapon from the video game Tomb Raider back when I played on PlayStation. I always thought it was cool, and I always kind of wanted it, even though in the video game they called it a Uzi, and this is not a Uzi. But let's go about the common modifications you can make to this and what I've done to this particular weapon. Like I said, we already talked about the pistol brace. A bigger thing too as well is that you can get upgraded grips on these two as well. And what this really does for me, just gives me a lot more better grip. I won't take it off because it takes a little bit more work to do that. But the original pistol grip on these, and I'm sure you can find on YouTube, is really straight. It's not very comfortable at all. But that is a big problem for me. However, this was, I forgot who purchased, who manufactured. This is a 3D printed grip that I put on here that got a chance to really help bring this to a lot more comfortable shooting platform. It has a hill type safety or a magazine release here as well. Another thing cool that I made and modified this is, once again, this is by Stormworks. Stormworks was able to develop a couple things that really help me go. Now, I'm going to fold this in. The sights here are actually relatively bad. It's going to be hard to see, but you have pretty much a notch here on the top, and you have a center hole there to use at a rear sight aperture. I'm going to point this at you guys, but it is safe, and you guys are YouTube land. And it's kind of hard to see, but right here you can see the front sight posts. None of this is adjustable. I'll be quite frank with you. It is extremely hard, in my opinion, to shoot with these particular sights. So what I did, and which is, like I said, really helped bring it to the 21st century for me, was Stormworks offer a very, very solid mount at the top. And I don't get any sponsorship yet at all, guys. So I just want you to know that. I wish I did, but I don't. But Stormworks right here offers a very, very good mounting solution for this. And this gives you a chance to put any type of micro dot or anything like that. I'm not too concerned about, like, concealed carry this. I mean, that'd be kind of hard to do, obviously. But it gives me the opportunity as the person who owns it to put different optics on it. I personally like a Romeo 5, and this is what I got on here on the top. It's a great little optic. I've used these. I've really become a big fan of them. Really, really good optics. And this thing, it now really does a great job of holding its zero all together, and it really takes the next game up. Now, another thing that I did that I'll break down here in a second is that I was able to actually go in and make a lot of modifications to the internals of the weapon. When you get it off to just a stock weapon, stock version of one of these, like I said, I put this up, I purchased like $300 or $400. These are not the best stocked. You had to make some modifications like I'm talking about. They have something called trigger slap, and what I mean by that is that it's designed to be a open bolt submachine gun. So what happens is when it's put in semi-automatic version, just the way it's designed, it actually slaps your fingers. Now, I'm a pretty tough guy, as you guys can see by the muscle mass there. But when you shoot this for a while in the stock conversion, it is very unpleasant, and you can feel it on your trigger. I never knew what that was for the longest time, but it was something that I really was not a fan of. Another thing that I did personally here was I put a pretty much a flash suppressor on here. This really isn't designed to flash for much of a splash. I mean, shooting a 9mm cartridge, but really because I wanted to have some real estate up here so I can hold it, get a good grip, and also be able to maneuver, and also be able to protect my fingers from any type of accidental discharge that may occur. And give myself enough clearance of the barrel. I did have a much longer barrel shroud. That was about 4 or 5 inch that came with it, but when you're trying to maintain maneuverability, and when you're also trying to maintain your capability to go out there and, you know, just really added a lot of unnecessary weight, and it kept screwing off. I forgot where I got this particular from, but it's roughly about, I think, 3 inches, a little bit more, and it gives me enough clearance where I feel comfortable that I can maneuver and take care of any business that I may need to when I'm out there just shooting on a range or anything like that. The original charging handle this is a reciprocating charging handle on this weapon, as you guys can see. It is reciprocating. There's two types that really comes with it. One is called a hockey puck, which is by far one of the worst charging handles I think ever made by a human being or a mankind. It's really small, about half the size of this. It's really hard to get your fingers in there, especially for a bigger guy, and trying to push that thing and charging back. And you'll sometimes, because it's so small, your fingers will rip on it, so it doesn't do you any favors. Once again, there's upgrades and aftermarket, and I think it looks much, so much better. This is the aftermarket one that is elevated and raised up. So you got a lot more real estate on it to be able to push it back. And what's cool about this too, if for some reason you needed to use your rear sights or your sight apertures, you also have this too as well. So let's go ahead, and I won't be able to break it down too much because of YouTube, but let's go ahead and see what's inside and make the Mac 11 or M11-9 tick and work. All right, time to disassemble this as much as the YouTube will allow me. So in the front, we have pretty much the takedown or retaining pins here to keep this weapon here. All you have to do is push that out. This is one pin that goes in here, and it's really interesting. The way this works and helps retain the pistol, like I said, we already checked to make sure it's clear, as you guys remember. It goes through the front portion of the bottom receiver, and then you have another portion here, this pin that actually holds it in place. So now that we have this removed, don't lose it. Next thing we're going to do is remove the upper receiver. All right. So let's go take a look at the bottom portion here. Like I said, I can't go into much detail because of YouTube. I can't show any modifications or how to put them in there, but it's really a simple system. You know, right here you have your safety, and you can see that it rotates here, and you squeeze the trigger, and there's actually bars that go right here in the middle section here that releases trigger. So we can do that real quick. And that releases, I'm sorry, not the hammer, or the trigger, but the hammer, and which then, of course, hits the bolt. The modifications are, you can't really tell the difference, but I believe these were custom made I got from SHTF that really help with the trigger mechanism and just the hammer itself as well. One thing I did too is that right here we have the hammer retaining pin that goes through the lower portion receiver, and I actually had to modify it because the original one, which I didn't really like too much, and when I went to go shooting for the cool video you guys need to stick around to see, it actually has a little C-clamp that goes on the other side, and it will fall off. Now obviously, you know, I'm always thinking about worst case scenario inside a field. If you're hustling, bustling, and, you know, fighting for your life somewhere or whatever, the last thing you want to do is have a C-clamp fall off and your hammer getting out of place. So what I did, I used the 832 inch stainless steel machine screw, and it goes right through, and just put a bolt in there with a little bit of Loctite, and this thing is shooting, or this thing is working with no problem, and I feel a lot more comfortable with that. Once again, modifications here from Stormworks gives me the opportunity to rotate and actually mount a pistol brakes, which are legal here in the United States for now anyway. Works pretty well. And the mag release here, once again, is a Hilt mag release. This is the upper portion of the pistol, the upper receiver. So it was really simple. Once again, the operation of the original Mac 11 or Mac 10, which was a 45 ACP, they're open bolt guns. These are all closed bolt and semi-automatic version. So all you have to do is pull back on the bolt, or sorry, pull back on the charging handle, which will push the bolt to the rear. And the charging handle, as you guys can see, there's a little notch for it at the top, and it will come right out. And then from there, all you gotta do is pull out the innards of the bolt. And it's really simple. This right here acts like the extractor pretty much for the casing, and this right here is just pretty much the coil spring assembly or spring and also rod. And all that does is just push the bolt back into battery. The bolt itself is actually really simple too as well. As you can see, it's well maintained and clean. It has a bladed type, kind of like fire pin, and it has a little spring in there too as well. I won't go into much detail. Like I said, I don't know what YouTube likes or don't like, so I'm just going to be careful before I can continue to do my keep your guys' show going. So the barrel itself, I believe, is coming in at 5.5 inches. Like I said, I put a flash suppressor on mine. But you could take a look. Let's see if you guys can get a good look at the insides of the barrel. And the barrel, of course, is rifled. I'll try to get a good. There you guys go. There you go. Look at that. The barrel itself is rifled, and you know, good old 9mm. I don't know when mine was made, but like I said, I had this weapon now for almost 15 years, and you know, I haven't put too many rounds through it, but you know, it still has worked pretty well. And then from here, like I said, you know, getting a better look at the rear sights. So another thing cool about this Stoneworks mount, it gives you opportunity to still use your rear sights. You see they put a little notch here at the top portion here that you can look at. But like I said, the iron sights that come on this pistol is not very good in my personal opinion. So that's why I put the mount on here with the Romeo 5. And that's pretty much in a nutshell a semi-automatic Cobray M11-9 broken down. And with a little YouTube package, we got this thing put back together like this. All right, guys, so we just took this thing back, just took it apart, we just put it back together. Mac and YouTube, I already got myself reassembled Mac 11. So in closing, before we go out and shoot this bad boy, why do I still think this is one of the most perfect, not perfect, but a good solution for you that a lot of people don't think about? Well, because like a couple things, you know, when you have the capability to have a semi-automatic pistol like this that gives you opportunity now with aftermarket accessories to have a foldable pistol brace, the maneuverability, and one thing I will here, this is still a clear weapon, but this is light ammunition here. Also, another great thing about it, this has a 32 round magazine standard that you can get still if you live in a free state, and you know, full 9mm. And, you know, one of the great things about this is just it gives you the opportunity to have relatively a lot of firepower in any type of situation that you may face. The thing that I really like about it, too, as well, is that its overall compactness. And, you know, with a combination with the pistol brace and the modifications of having that you can do to internals like I've done before with adding, I think, the more cast type of internals and working on the trigger, which improved greatly. This is actually can become a very accurate pistol. Now, if you own the Mac 11 or you shot it once or twice, you're going to say, well, you know, Faceless Gunslinger, that's not true. But I can tell you, taking this bad boy to the range, I have no problem shooting targets out to 50 meters with this thing, especially with its current configuration. And I'm pretty sure up to 100 meters too, if I had the opportunity to do so. Just because with the red dot and it just being dialed in the way it is, I mean, it just really makes a solid semi-automatic pistol. You know, and when you think about any type of crazy situation where you might have to be on the go, you might have a situation where a full-size rifle platform may not be the best for you, or having even a PCC or pistol caliber carbine may not be the best for you. So having something like this you could throw inside a backpack or something like that. You know, if you're moving, if there's a zombie apocalypse, there's a grid down situation. I mean, it gives you relatively, even though it's a pistol caliber, it gives you a relatively amount of firepower and kind of a pretty good range when you're talking about thinking about going on a go and typical engagements if you need to. You know, that's why I really, really do like it. It's not perfect by no means, but I do think that it offers a very, very good solution for having the capability to, you know, be given to a person who doesn't need too much training on a particular platform, and just, you know, especially with the 6R Romeo 5. Sig, if you want me to be a sponsor, please let me know. Just plug out there. And, you know, it really does bring it to its own element. And like I said, guys, it's something I really, really like here. So I still think it's a very, very good option with the modifications I made, and something that I never thought when I purchased this back in roughly 2009 for like $300 off for Guns America. I never thought that I would actually fall in love with this weapon platform so much. But honestly, I think it's amazing. It's great now, and it's one of my favorites. So enough blabbing from me. Let's do what we all came here to see. Why don't you guys go grab your eyes, grab your ears, because it's time to go loud. Now that was exciting, guys. I absolutely love this little pistol. Mwah! What a great piece of equipment. And God, I love this country. And guys, I also love you. Thank you so much for once again tuning in. That's going to end it for FluTac today, guys. Thank you guys for so much of the support. I got a lot more content coming down the pipe. You know, I absolutely love doing this. I love talking about one of my favorite hobbies and passions, firearms. Like I said, it get a bad rap, but you know, I've met a lot of great people in the firearms community, just like you guys, who come together and just have a good time. And I just love sharing my passion for these and just looking and just going through this firearm renaissance of just having, you know, old weapon systems that people don't really think about anymore. And now great companies like, once again, I get no sponsor, no money from this channel, but great sponsors or great companies like FTF, I believe, Industries, making just great products, and Stormworks to really bring a weapon like this into the 21st century, just make it a better platform. So, guys, once again, be safe out there. You know, summer is approaching here. Going to the United States. This is filmed in May in 2024. A lot of craziness here in the United States, as you guys know. I don't talk about politics here, but you know, just be safe out there. Just be kind to your fellow neighbor. Be kind to yourself. And in the meantime, I need you guys to do something for him. Make sure to shoot straight, shoot safe, and do not be a victim.